Hey, I'm Josiah. I make 3D product videos for a living, and I asked some members in my Discord community if they wanted me to critique some of their work and try to help improve it. I got a few submissions, so let's go through them together. This one is by 3D Tate. I think it's pretty good. I like the lighting, I like the colors, and I like how you're staying with the beat of the music. And the main things I would change is just switching out this gobo with one that's actually a moving tree and not just like a flapping texture. This area here, when it goes up, it feels like when it goes up, the background could just transition to this purple background like as it's moving, and that would feel more seamless. But what you currently have, it goes up and then it stops and then it transitions, and that feels a little more jittery to me. I'm not sure if I understand the vision of changing the field of view right here. I get that you probably wanted another motion of some sort just to stay with the beat, but it just feels like you threw it in and it doesn't really necessarily add anything. Other than that, I think it's good. Good job, 3D Tate. Yeah, this is one of those videos that loops forever and it just shows their product and kind of like what it's made from. I like the idea. I've seen a few variations of this idea before. Overall, you executed well and I like it. If I had to give some notes, I would say that you can tell in the reflections below that your samples are fairly low, and I'd probably just bump up either the overall samples or I would increase the reflection passes, and that should improve your reflections. One thing I don't love is that since we can see through this window here, we can see the exact frame that you essentially turn off the collection of all those fruits. The door doesn't completely hide when they just disappear. So I would either make the door not see-through, or if you keep it see-through, then I would figure out how I'm squashing all those fruits together or hiding them so that we don't just see the exact frame that they turn off. Also, the loop isn't perfect, so we can see right at the end here, if you look at this, it just jumps forward. If I'm putting myself in the shoes of the company who hired you for this, if I'm selling whatever this is, I would probably want my brand logo to be totally in focus. It could just be the compression of the video, but the logo feels a little fuzzy. But yeah, overall, it's looking good. Alright, the next video is by Antagonist. So let's take a look at that. I would encourage you to put yourself in the shoes of a brand and ask yourself, what is the video that I'm making telling about the product or the brand? And when I ask myself this question watching this video, I don't really have an answer. There are some spherical blue things, maybe dewdrops, and they disappear, and then some flowers grow. So what does that tell us about this brand? It's not very clear. It's kind of confusing. There are other things I could talk about, like the lighting or the compositing. For example, why are we'll call them dewdrops. Why are these dewdrops super blurry? It doesn't really make sense. And you can see the grass right behind the product isn't blurry, so it's just a weird compositing choice that I don't agree with. So there are things like that, of course, that I could talk more about. But the main piece of advice I would tell you is really just put yourself in the shoes of a brand. Honestly, if you choose a real brand, then that kind of helps you answer a lot of questions because you can go and reference some of their other product videos that they've done. So research the story that they're telling in their other videos and see if you can come up with a unique take on that. This is one fun example I saw on Instagram recently, and I figured I'd show it. The brand that posted it is called Unique. If anyone knows what animator or designer made this, drop it in the comments because I don't know. But you can see what I mean here. They don't just raise up the case and then put it back down. They're showing all the different positions that the case can morph into, showing its versatility. They're showing how the Apple Pencil can fit in there as well. And there's other really cool things about this video that I could call out, like the stop motion feeling and how it flows so well with the music. But all of those things have to build upon the original idea, which is like, what is the story we're telling about the product? Alright, let's look at another video. Okay, this one is very nice, other than the fact that it's in 720p. It's got really nice camera movement. I like how it speeds up with the music, and it has nice text animations too. Yeah, overall you can tell that someone put a lot of effort into it and they know what they're doing. I can give a few nitpicky things, but yeah, overall I don't have any huge complaints with this one. It's really nice. My first question is, I'm wondering if this establishing shot is even necessary, because we kind of have like two establishing shots. You've got this one and then you have this one. So it makes me wonder if we could just start on this one, if it would be less distracting. Especially since the text stays the same as well. There might not really be a reason to change that. I probably wouldn't reveal leather this way. You're using a threading effect here, and leather isn't really made up of a bunch of small threads, so that doesn't really make sense to me. And these threads kind of go all over the place, so I would just personally do that differently, but it's not a huge deal either way. And then I have a similar issue with the phone reveal. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It's just like black here. You can't really see inside of it. I might just have the phone float in rather than like use a boolean to bring it in, because it just feels a little weird to me, but that's more of a personal preference than saying like you have to do it that way. It also feels like right at the end here we could animate the camera or the wallets just slightly turning slowly. What they do now is they just jump up, they stay right there, and they freeze for a few seconds. That feels a little awkward. But yeah, like I said, those are just a little bit nitpicky, and overall I think it's a really good video. I like the transitions in this one. Also like the lighting. You can really see the headphones, they feel clear. My main critique would be the text feels weird. Why is it orange here? It's brighter orange here, it's dimmer orange here, and then it's yellow. And then right at the end, you can see it disappears right here. And also this font feels just like a default font. It doesn't feel intentional. I don't personally like that it's italic. Just the overall composition of the text is kind of off-centered over here. If you were working with a company, they would most likely say the shots are just slightly too fast because we can't really read the text. I mean, we can read it if we watch it like 5 times over, but if you're a consumer and you just watch it once, you might not even get to read the text. The bump map of the table feels a bit strong. And also I would probably choose a light source for this scene. It just feels evenly lit and a bit boring. I'd probably add in like a windowsill and have that cast light on here. I think that would look nicer. But yeah, it looks pretty good overall and I like it. This one might be my favorite one of the day so far. I really like the intro reveal. I like these nice animated lights. I think that's really interesting. I like this transition right here where it goes from the volume to the earphone. A couple small things I noticed. In the beginning we see this light pastel blue, and then later on it changes to like a darker blue. So I would just keep that consistent throughout. And I would probably bring up the colors of these other two as well. I like the rim light here. I think you should use an actual leather texture here instead of... It looks like a procedural material, so I'd probably just swap that out to make it look nicer. We see a really dark shadow on this platform right here, and that's a very high area of contrast, and it's kind of drawing my eyes away from the headphones, so I'd probably just lighten this up right here. And same with this shot. I think this corner is a bit dark, so I'd probably lighten that up a bit. That's really it though for this one. I think it turned out really nice, and yeah, good job. I hope that was helpful. If you think I should do more of these, leave a comment below. If you want to join that Discord community for the next time that I make one of these videos, I will leave a link in the description. And thanks for watching.